Restrictions on legal immigration have, in fact, made it tougher to come to the U.S. under President Trump. Those travel bans and visa restrictions, refugee caps, changes to asylum rules, they all slowed migration way down, and all of that was before the pandemic. According to the Cato Institute, which favors a more open immigration policy, more than 90% fewer immigrants came to the U.S. in the second half of this fiscal year compared to the first half. That's the fastest decline in recorded history, obviously because of that pandemic. For a closer look at where we stand as a country on this issue, we're joined now by Professor of Law and Migration Studies, Bill Hing. Professor Hing, thanks for joining us. And I just wanted to ask you a general observation. After 3.5 years now of President Trump's rhetoric and policies on immigration, what kind of impact has he had, and what could the Democrats do? Is it a lasting impact, or would the Democrats, if they got in, be able to change it?
Well, from the very first days of his administration, the fear level, to be honest with you, in the immigrant community just spiked. Even before he got sworn in, I was getting calls by people for presentations on whether or not they were going to get deported and that kind of thing. And that was from the very beginning. And of course, since that time, he's implemented so many administrative changes, from the Muslim ban to the attempt to end DACA, to the closure of the border, even before the pandemic, to the difficulties for people called on temporary protected status from all different parts of the world, from El Salvador, Sudan, Haiti. So most of those things were done administratively. And so most of those things done administratively could be scaled back by the Biden administration. And it looks like most of those things are on Joe Biden's first 100-day list in office of addressing.
And Professor, in 2016, voters in a Gallup poll listed immigration as one of the most important issues for the next president to deal with, second only to the economy. This 2020 campaign season, it ranked 10th. So what do we know about where the public is on this issue, and what do they want to see an immigration system look like?
Well, first of all, I want to address some of the things that were in the video before. The gentleman farmer who was complaining about undocumented migration, the truth is that the numbers of undocumented migration was on a decline for the 10 years prior to Donald Trump taking office. So we were at all-time low in terms of the number of people that were just trying to enter, quote unquote, illegally at the border. Now, in contrast to that, there was an increase in people trying to seek asylum also at the southern border. But those are two different very groups. And so the fact that people see demographic changes happening not just in California or New York, but in the South, that may pose challenges to many folks that are looking around and hearing people that don't speak English. And so I think that that's what led to the interest in immigration, because Donald Trump used that as his primary plank in his campaign in 2016. And as your callers, as your guests on the segment before are telling you, there's so many other issues on the table right now, beginning with the pandemic and the economy, that Donald Trump hasn't been able to play the immigration card as strongly as he did in the past.
Well, thanks for the lesson on recent history there, and I want to ask you about that decline in people crossing the border without the authority of law. And the question that I have is, was that partly because of the deportations, the raids that we know took place under the Obama administration that have been harshly criticized? And how would a Joe Biden administration, do you think, do it differently?
Okay, so I want to differ with you on, and it was done in the video, and you just repeated it, that the raids happened under the Obama administration. That's actually not true. Okay, the big raids that you have in your head happened under the George Bush administration. It's true that Obama became known as the deporter-in-chief, but it wasn't because of the types of raids that you have in your mind. Most of the people that got deported under Obama were at the border or people who had been convicted of crimes. The gripe that I have long had with the Obama administration is the treatment of asylum seekers at the border. So in 2014 and 2015, huge numbers of unaccompanied minors, and then coupled later with women and children fleeing from Central America to the border. They came tens of thousands in 2014, 2015, 2016, and the Obama administration reacted by opening family detention centers.
Right,
okay, so
right.
that's my gripe with the Obama administration, and that was the basis for some of the cruelties that we have seen the Trump administration engage in at the border.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's very informative. Bill Hing, thanks very much for helping us out today.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.